Level 5, Wyllowwood. Behold Wyllowwood's wood, harm not, lest ye be harmed. Quick notes. This chapter is narrative in nature, not exploratory. The adventurers are meant to interact heavily with Wyllow and slowly realize that this paragon of nature is capable of vast, unforgiving wrath. Therefore, this level is an exercise of restraint and tact on the part of the party. It's autumn when the party arrives. Day is darkening into dusk and a full moon is due. While your adventurers are likely to take a long rest early, you want them to first meet Wyllow, see Act 2 below, as many events occur at night. Tunnels connect both level 6 and 7, see area 8 and 10. To prevent the party from taking these tunnels, you can require they secure Wyllow's permission first, as entering her domain is easy but leaving is forbidden. She only grants permission if the adventurers wipe out the werebat colony. 3 arcane gates are on this level, 1 to level 2, level 3, and level 6. The ladder is too high of a level for the party to open. Cloakers lair in A4. They can speak both deep speech and undercommon, so prepare extra dialogue if the adventurers can speak either language. Hallister takes a back seat for this level, only appearing to share the effects of Wyllow's past. See Hallister's visit in special events. Prepare for your adventurers to contact or even request werebat lycanthropy. See other considerations below. Wyllow, a hidden evil. Wyllow makes for a fantastic antagonist for several reasons, but the most promising is this. No one ever suspects druids of being evil, and make no mistake, Wyllow has great evil in her. Her alignment may officially be chaotic neutral, but there is nothing good or even neutral about murdering campers that dare start a fire to stay warm. Promising genocide to a species that has no choice but to suck blood, and eradicating a cult dedicated to a god of hunting for the mistake of hunting too many boars. Alas, Wyllow believes herself to be just and right, and that's what makes her truly evil. Role-playing Wyllow. The Archdruid is a creature of unending compassion for wildlife. People, however, stoke the coals of her paranoia and remind her of all she's lost. Wyllow nurses 2 fears that dominate her entire personality: growing attached to another person, and admitting that the awakened sycophants she surrounded herself with aren't enough to satisfy her. She can frolic with beasts all she likes, but they can never be human. Wyllow is also adamant with her prejudices and opinions. Wyllow considers the dragon a valued member of the forest and demands visitors show Tierulia respect. Wyllow considers and describes the werebats as insatiable vermin infesting her realm. They have no natural place in her woods, nor the circle of life itself. She tolerated such pitiable creatures until recently, when the gluttony of one werebat convinced her that they're nothing more than parasites. She wants them gone from her realm immediately, and no means are too red. In Wyllow's mind, she can do no wrong, and any wrong is, of course, justified. She had to kill Chrisen. His mind was bent by Hallister. Slaughtering the cult of Malar was nothing short of justice for the wildlife they slaughtered. And all the adventurers that have passed through this forest, they all had it coming. When confronted with her crimes, Wyllow doesn't lie or cover up her deeds, but instead owns them with pride. Only the death of her late husband, Ianarch, haunts her, and there is no way for her to justify her actions. Despite her vow to never again let a mortal touch her heart, Wyllow still yearned for companionship. The trouble she rationalized was being with men of the blade or the arcane. If a druid, ranger, nature cleric, or other person with a strong bond to nature entered her domain, she might consider taking them as a consort. A web of dread. Wyllow is the central character of this level. All roads lead back to her. Long before the adventurers realize her evil, they'll have wandered into her web. This intrigue can be cultivated through these points. Play upon the druid stereotype and adventurers' assumptions. All druids are just peace-loving hippies, right? Paint an innocent faction as evil, the werebats. Present Wyllowwood as a good or tragic hero that the adventurers will be inclined to side with. If they begin to accuse others of her crimes, you've done your job. Inevitably, the adventurers will incur Wyllow's wrath, and the fly will realize it's been in the spider's web all this time. Consider the entirety of Wyllowwood as one story, which is divided into the following acts. Act 1. Arrival to Wyllowwood. The adventurers reach the splendor of Wyllowwood. The shock of its beauty will be thawed soon enough when they realize this isn't the idyllic wonderland it's painted as. They first find Wyllow's sign in Area 2, then the discarded objects in Area 5. This is necessary foreshadowing of Wyllow's evil, but to foil it, Tiarulia, the young green dragon, is seen soaring above the canopy to his platform. Act 2. Audience with the Woodland Queen. The adventurers find themselves face to face with Wyllow in any of the following ways. The party sights the tower, A6, and may press on towards it. Or a sparrow, under the effect of an animal messenger spell, invites them to visit. Sky's the limit, right? While traveling along the river or through the woods, they find Wyllow bathing, ever confident. She emerges from the water to greet the party, inviting them to her tower for a more formal audience. She takes her leave by shapeshifting into a raven and making for Area 6. The adventurers come across a glade in the woods. Napping at its center or in the boughs of a tree is Wyllow. If woken, she smiles and greets the adventurers, inviting them to her tower. She takes her leave by shapeshifting into a raven. Once the party meets Wyllow at her tower, she introduces herself and explains just how a forest has thrived so deep underground. So long as the adventurers don't harm the forest or its wildlife, she guarantees them safe harbor. Leaving Wyllowwood. While normally visitors are free to enter and leave Wyllowwood, the companion has twisted that. Entering is easy. Leaving requires the druid's permission, which she only grants if the adventurers wipe out the werebat colony. Wyllow describes them as parasites and criminals that disobey her laws. All werebats, Wyllow insists, must be put to the sword, and little do the adventurers know that includes the children too. If the adventurers refuse to cut down the babes and return to her, they incur Wyllow's wrath. See Wyllow's hunt below. See Area 6A below for dialogue and details. Act 3. Omens at Second Light. After meeting with Wyllow and accepting her quest, the remaining omens must be broadcast to the adventurers. They serve to sow doubt in the players' minds and to push them into questioning Wyllow's morality, or instead siding with her biases about druids. Their biases about druids. See, every time they're confronted by the evidence of Wyllow's dark deeds, they should wonder, was it the druidess or the dragon or some other outside force? Surely sweet little Wyllow couldn't be capable of this. The following omens should be presented to the party. The skeletal remains of the Malar cult in Area 7. No weapon or burn marks mar the remains, suggesting these 60 humans all died to something toxic. And didn't the party already catch a glimpse of a green dragon? Malar's Haven, the abandoned complex, Area 18 to 20, which should have the adventurers wonder what catastrophe befell the inhabitants. After all, the possessions all lie untouched. It's as if they never knew what hit them. Having seen visitors enter Wyllowwood, Vul the outcast approaches the adventurers. As a nocturnal creature, the most opportune moment would be at night while the party rests. However, the werebat is desperate enough to approach during the day. See a desperate Vul in special events below. Act 4. Valdemar's last-ditch effort. Sending visitors to this realm, Valdemar, the young green dragon, uses the last of its will to send secret messages to the adventurers by reshaping twigs and leaves or by leaving whispers on the wind. All say, pepper them in as you see fit. Gentle winds blow towards Area 9. Should they free Valdemar by pulling Tiarulii from its skull, the dragon promises its wrath if the party confronts Wyllow. This is a lie, unless the battle turns overwhelmingly in the party's favor. With Wyllow dead, the dragon will rule this land. If Wyllow learns that the adventurers have freed Valdemar, she sets out to destroy them. Act 5. At last, the climax of this level. The adventurers incur Wyllow's wrath, or confront her over her many crimes, and must face a guerrilla fighter served by the forest itself. See Wyllow's Hunt for the play-by-play of how this battle turns out. Wyllow's Hunt. When the adventurers incur Wyllow's wrath, Her justice is swift and brutal. A sadist, deluded by her own lies, this predator hunts down the party in a myriad of ways. Facing her is a lesson in guerrilla warfare, for this one-woman army is a nightmare to behold. Never will they face her in a stuffy room or enclosed environment, and never will she offer them a fair fight. Wyllow stages a series of ambushes, mainly determined by location or your own whimsy. The adventurers will lack for an easy battle, for the druidess strikes surgically from afar, armed with potent magic, loyal servants, and a terrain she knows better than anyone. This confrontation is not so much a battle, but a desperate escape from her wrath, punctuated by motes of fire and fanged beasts. When Wyllow begins her hunt, she visits her tower, Area 6, and sets the calendar stone to night, so that she can ambush her prey under the cover of darkness. She also forces winter upon Wyllowwood, making it an environment of extreme cold. See the sidebar above for its effects. Every hour a creature is exposed to the cold and must succeed on a DC 10 Constitution saving throw or take 1 level of exhaustion. Creatures with resistance or immunity to cold damage automatically succeed on the saving throw, as do creatures wearing cold weather gear, thick coats, gloves, and the like, and creatures naturally adapted to cold climates, such as the beasts and plants of Wyllowwood. Tactics. Wyllowwood is a seasoned veteran of countless years with countless years of experience to draw upon. She follows these tactics in battle. Before ever fighting, Wyllow casts Foresight on herself and collects the crystal bulb from Area 6G that conjures Halaster. If she has an hour to kill before attacking the party, she also tunes to the hide armor of lightning resistance in Area 6B. If near death, Wyllow plants the bulb that summons Halaster Blackcloak, begging him to save her. Wyllow never fights fairly. She utilizes her darkened demence and sends her loyal beasts to fight in melee range for her. Wyllow can cast spells while in her wild shape. Druids are masters of guerrilla warfare. Wyllow hits and runs constantly. If things turn south, she retreats, knowing she will outlast and outsmart her foes. Armed with shapeshifting, Wyllow has 3 separate pools of hit points, more than any boss would have. Wild shape. Wyllow employs the following tactics regarding her change shape ability, which she can use twice a day. The forms cited below have their statistics included in Appendix B. Wyllow can assume the form of an earth elemental using its earth glide trait to hide within the ground and ambush the party. To launch an attack from above, Wyllow assumes the form of a giant eagle. She prefers to grapple weak targets, then fly to the ceiling 100 feet up and then end the grapple. Dropping the target will take 1d6 bludgeoning damage for every 10 feet they fall. Should her foes attempt to cross the River of the Depths, Wyllow assumes the form of a giant shark. She first destroys their vessel, and once they're overboard, ravages them. To chase after prey, Wyllow takes the form of a white panther, using the statistics of an Allosaurus. Her faithful displacer beast is at her side, along with a pack of 1d4 plus 2 blink dogs. If she's cornered, Wyllow assumes the form of a massive white stag, using the statistics of a triceratops, but with a size large, not huge. Ambushes. Wyllow prefers to stage a series of ambushes against the party, rather than face them in a single titanic fight. Whenever an ambush turns south, Wyllow retreats only to attack a few minutes later. By fire be purged! Wyllow entraps the adventurers with a wall of fire spell, cast from 120 feet away. 50 feet up in a tree, 100 feet away. Creatures that enter the ring take no fire damage, and so Wyllow sends 4 awakened brown bears and an awakened elk through the wall to attack the adventurers. On her second turn, she unleashes a firestorm spell, sparing local plant life per the spell. Future turns are spent casting Produce Flame and maintaining concentration on the Wall of Force. Ride of the Valkyries. While in the form of a giant eagle, Wyllow is accompanied by 8 giant bats. She swoops down and attempts to grapple the weakest character, then flies up to 100 feet up and drops her prey. Just for added flavor, Halaster chooses this moment to drown Wyllowwood under the Ride of the Valkyries. Play the song at your tabletop during this encounter. She's in the trees! Using the Tree Stride spell, Wyllow rains hell on the adventurers from afar, while a pack of 5 blink dogs strafe the party. Every round of combat, Wyllow teleports to a new tree, appearing 50 feet up among the boughs and branches, hurling produced flame cantrips at the adventurers. The trees have eyes and fists. The adventurers enter a grove secretly composed of 8 awakened shrubs and 3 awakened trees. Wyllow appears, using her action on a sunbeam spell. Other considerations. Level 5 can have 2 great ramifications on your campaign. Werebat lycanthropy. If they face the werebat colony, one or more of the adventurers may become cursed with lycanthropy. It is, however, your game. Just because a werebat lands a bite doesn't mean a character has to or gets to roll to become cursed. If you do call for it, do so sparingly, as nothing can cause a game to jump the rails more than giving immunity to non-silver, non-magical attacks to a player character. If, however, an adventurer is cursed, you can play with it in several ways. Wyllow's wrath. Sour over their past behavior, Wyllow will not tolerate any more lycanthropes in her domain. She demands the cursed character submit to a cleansing ritual in the form of a remove curse spell, or be banished from her demands, an excuse for bloodshed. Hey, if one character is virtually immune to most attacks, that just means you can amp up combat from here on out, right? Alistair telepathically tells them, now that you're cursed, I have no excuse to hold back. Enjoy! You, as the DM, now have carte blanche to add all sorts of baddies to future encounters. Alistair's prank. Alistair can use a ray of sunlight to always shine above the lycanthrope, disadvantaging it per the sunlight sensitivity trait. Tiarulai, the Emerald Blade. Your campaign might be drastically altered if the adventurers take Tiarulai. See Area 9. Not only is it an incredibly powerful weapon, it also has the will and drive to return to the place of its creation, with its wielder forced to come along for the ride. If the adventurers claim the sword, you must be prepared for the campaign to take a sudden detour, as Tiarulai attempts to return to Myth Drannor by means of its wielder, or just scrap that entirely. It would be far less disruptive to your game to give Tiarulai patience, but then there's no danger or drawback to using the sword. Assuming you keep this danger in play, if its wielder's goals run counter to its own, Tiarulai attempts to take control of its wielder, subjecting it to a DC 17 Charisma saving throw. On a failure, the wielder is charmed for 1d12 hours, during which Tiarulai attempts to reach the surface. The blade is cunning enough to wait until the adventurers encounter a quick means to the surface, such as one of Alistair's arcane gates. The most opportune gate is on level 10, which links to level 1. Tiarulai would take that very moment to strike. Personality. Tiarulai admires great beauty, music, fine art, and poetry. Vain, the weapon strives to improve its appearance. It craves gemstones and seeks out better ones with which to adorn itself. Most of all, it longs to return to the forests around Myth Drannor, where it was created. Expanding on the blade. If Tiarulai is acquired, you can use it as a new character for the adventurers. Use the sword as a mouthpiece for Undermountain, granting it vast knowledge of the dungeon. Never enough to ruin a surprise, but able to reveal background information that you're struggling to convey to your players. The blade may even consider answering these questions as a quid pro quo, stacking up a debt, which can take the form as a cumulative -1 penalty to a character's charisma saving throw to avoid being charmed by Tiarulai. Alright, that's it for our overview of Wyllow, a Hidden Evil from the Companion, the Dungeon of the Mad Mage Companion available on dmsguild.com. And I've bought the whole thing. It's the complete edition, and it's amazing. I can't imagine running Dungeon of the Mad Mage without it. And it makes every level so much more interesting and fun. Anyway, I'm happy to share with you guys. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you when I do the areas. I'm going to cover the areas in the next video, so please stay tuned for that. Cheers. Bye-bye.